Can you get magnesium poisoning? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about how to optimize the energy capacity of your body. If you're wondering what kind of a psychopath would have access to that kind of information, look no further. I'll be drinking my magnesium as I film this video because apparently I am horrifically deficient in it at the moment. This is a very niche overachiever type of problem. Someone who is trying to achieve their goals so fast that they are actively depleting themselves, not just mentally and emotionally, but from a nutritional standpoint. Someone who is just hell-bent on achieving everything they've ever wanted to, and who is relentless with their hard work and their discipline to the point of physical exhaustion over and over again. And if you are a total hypochondriac and just a spaz in general about your personal health, like me, this video will probably be very helpful for you. So if you are the type of person who is trying to live life to the fullest, and you're going after every goal and you're trying to have it all, you want the great career and you want to be having the perfect skincare routine, the perfect wardrobe, hair care, everything, the amazing husband, the kids, and then you also want to not lose your mind and have great friends too and a great social life. The first thing you're gonna have to do is figure out what your capacity actually is. For me personally, I found out where my capacity was in college, and I highly recommend, if you are a young woman and you're trying to figure out what your capacity is, college is a great place to do it. You've got 4 years of a small, controlled environment with lots of mentors and safety nets in place for you to get help when you inevitably crash out. So when I was in college, what that looked like was me saying yes to everything that I wanted to do without taking into account, would I be able to do it? The anything is possible mentality is very important here. Another key component of getting to the point where you are understanding what your physical capacity is doing things that you love. If you are doing things that you don't really want to do, you're never really gonna find out where your capacity is, because you're not gonna have the emotional stamina to even get to that point. You really have to want it in order to deplete yourself physically. If you're forcing yourself to get something done, it's just gonna look like burnout. It's not gonna look like my fullest capacity, if that makes sense. So challenge yourself to say yes to every single thing that you want to be doing. Don't take into account, oh, that's gonna be too much for me. You don't know what's too much for you. You've never actually used up your entire capacity. So if you want to go to the parties and you want to be in that club, do that major, do that minor, exercise, sports, whatever it is. If you're not in college, maybe you want to take on that side hustle, or you want to write that book, do this, that, or the other. You want to go back to school, you want to do this, you want to do that. See how much you can say yes to. And as you're doing that, as you're challenging yourself, you're gonna find out how far a minute can actually take you. And this is the tricky part. So when I was in college, we didn't have TikTok or social media the way we have it today. So a minute could take me very far very easily. I was not constantly distracted by this need to pick up my phone and see what was going on in the cultural zeitgeist from every corner of the globe. I know it is hard to get that screen time under control. If you need to delete the apps, delete them. they're not serving you, and all of those minutes, all of those hours that you see on your screen time tracker or whatever, that's costing you. It's costing you heavily. You need to get rid of it. Okay, so you said yes to everything under the sun. What is gonna happen when you start reaching your fullest capacity? Well, first of all, it's terrifying. The first thing that is going to fail is probably your immune system. Obviously, everyone is different, and reaching your fullest capacity is gonna look different for different people, but I would say more often than not, the first time you reach your physical capacity, it will show up in the form of catching a cold, catching the flu. Your immune system is going to take a hit. Immunity is a pretty easy fix. Usually it is a dietary situation. Maybe you're not getting all your food groups. Maybe you are low on vitamin C or like zinc or any of these immune type of supplements. Once you get your immunity figured out, your capacity is going to increase further because you're not going to be sidelined by illnesses. So what is going to happen when you reach your capacity for the second time? This one, like I said, it's different for everybody, but more often than not, it will probably be some sort of a vitamin deficiency. So you may find yourself being depleted of trace vitamins that the average person is not running out of because they're not working as hard as you. Similar to the immunity situation, you do a deep dive into vitamins and trace minerals. Maybe you get some blood work done and you figure out what additional supplements you need to be taking. Maybe it's vitamin D, maybe it's magnesium, maybe it's one supplement that you need at first and then you're fine, and then later on you reach your capacity again and you realize a different supplement is being depleted and you have to figure out how long it's going to take to replenish it. Magnesium is apparently 2 to 4 weeks. Fantastic for me. Vitamin D, I think, happens a little bit easier, and if you're taking certain things, they can impact the other things you're taking as well. So I know specifically with magnesium and vitamin D, if you take magnesium, it increases the absorption of vitamin D as well. So then you may not need to take as much vitamin D as you were before, and there's a lot of give and take there. Other examples of reaching your fullest capacity include, but are not limited to, muscle injuries, specifically in the context of sports or exercise, hormonal imbalances, and just hijacking your nervous system in general, which I will talk about in detail in a little bit later on in this video. But first of all, when it comes to exercising, what's really important, especially if you're an athlete watching this, you need to understand the difference between various levels of discomfort. It's not just about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, it's really understanding the different levels of discomfort. So you need to understand the difference between like being tired and being sore and being in pain and being depleted. These are all very different stages of fatigue, if you will. These are lines that get kind of blurry as your discipline and willpower become good enough to overcome your body's mental safeguards that are in place for you to not injure yourself with overuse. And when you're playing with your fullest capacity, these are the tight ropes that you have to walk, and you have to understand when to take a break, because if you don't take a break, your body will take the break for you, and it will never be a good time. So the best thing that you can do is learn when your body needs to take rest so that you can space it out accordingly so that you are optimized for whenever you need to be in peak physical condition to execute whatever it is that you need to do. A lot of people try to get around this by saying, okay, well, I'm not going to do this physical activity, but I'll do another physical activity instead. Or I will do some mental work. But no, you need a full break, a full break that is going to require you to be a little bit rusty when you get back in order to get back into the swing of things, whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't have that little learning curve when you get back, it means you didn't actually take a break. And people, they get scared of this. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose my progress. You have to be mentally strong enough to take breaks and come back and overcome that little hump of getting back to where you used to be. And I promise, with practice, it will be easier and easier to come back from breaks, and you will get to the point where your breaks need to be even longer for you to feel the effects of them when you get back. And that is going to do wonders for not just your physical health, but for your mental toughness and for whatever skill you're trying to build, because you are really optimizing how much time you are able to put towards whatever you're working towards without taking a toll on your physical body. And the last stage of all of this, or at least the last stage that I have broken ground on, is your central nervous system being overloaded. Now, a lot of people hear that and think, what does that even mean? It's just a bunch of voodoo. Like, what do you mean by central nervous system overload? Your central nervous system is powered by neurotransmitters. There are hormones involved with your central nervous system. And if you start overloading it, believe it or not, there are very real molecules in there that will either be produced in excess or not be produced enough because you've just tired it out. And you are gonna feel an entire shutdown from the inside out, or you're gonna be just extremely hyped up to the point of anxiety and tremors, and it's going to be a really, really dangerous headspace for you to be in, because it will feel like everything is crumbling around you. That's the best way I can put it. But a central nervous system overload requires a full and extensive break to come back from. And that's why it's very, very good to not get to the point where your central nervous system is overloaded, which is what I'm going to talk about next. Your central nervous system will be kicked into high gear when you are at your most intense. So anything that feels like a big deal, a really big emotional investment, anything that requires a lot of physical work, a lot of physical exhaustion, less sleep, it's a mental, emotional, and physical thing. An increase in heart rate, all of these things are going to contribute to your central nervous system getting kicked into high gear, and a lot of neurotransmitters and electrolytes and trace nutrients being depleted as a result of all of these systems going as high as they can. This is essentially a physical representation of what it means to do your best. And you may find that you are improving a lot or getting a lot done when you are in that state, but that is not sustainable because it will kill you. I'm laughing, but it's true. So what you really need to do is you need to be able to execute that same way that you understand physically in a more relaxed way. My sister has this thing where she calls it like this big cosmic joke that we're in. Like, don't take anything seriously. It's all one big cosmic joke that we're here right now. So, and that's been helping me be more relaxed about this whole thing. But yes, you need to be able to do what you're doing in a more relaxed way that does not stress out your central nervous system. And that way you will be able to make leaps and bounds in your gains without putting your central nervous system into overdrive. And it is phenomenal. You will find out that you're able to execute your best physical capacity without overloading your central nervous system, just by keeping yourself mentally and emotionally in check. And it requires a great deal of mental toughness and emotional intelligence to be able to do this, but the payoff is phenomenal. Going too hard for too long can impact your endocrine system after a point as well. For women, that will look like your period going away. For men, I don't know what that looks like, but I know it is possible for them as well. So the secret to optimizing your fullest capacity is actually hidden in your daily routine. In your day-to-day life, you need to have a very sharp awareness of what your central nervous system is looking like. This is where having really good discipline with your screen time for social media becomes very, very important, because all of that, like social media with the Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, all of these attention grabbing media sources, they are trying to elicit a reaction out of you. So they are intentionally trying to spike your central nervous system. And for what? For absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, you're trying to manage your spikes in your central nervous system for the things that you are trying to achieve in your life, your goals. So really, that's what you're fighting against when you are trying not to mindlessly scroll on social media. You need to be very intentional with where your minutes are going. And I know it seems like just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and you think, okay, well, I can still get everything done even though I'm spending this much time on social media, 5 minutes here and there throughout the day. Well, what happens is those 5 minutes could have been spent doing whatever you were originally supposed to be doing more slowly, in a more relaxed way, with your central nervous system at a much lower baseline. And that is the secret. That's why it is so important to not eliminate social media entirely. I'm not saying you can never post there ever again, and obviously I post there quite frequently, but if you are going to be on social media, time block it. Make it a thing. Make it a thing that you're doing, and you're saying, okay, for 30 minutes today, I am giving myself the opportunity to go there and dig for whatever content I'm looking for, or just seeing what is going on in the world. Because like I said, you should be knowing what's going on in the world. You should not just be living in a little vacuum, because the world is bigger than just your one point of view. The other thing that you have to understand in the same vein is you can't be greedy in your day. And this is something that I'm actually learning how to do right now, almost for the first time ever, because basically for my entire life, I was always, anything is possible, I can get everything done, I want to do all of this, so I'm gonna do all of it, and I'm gonna push myself, and I don't care what happens, I'm just gonna get all of it done. And now, at my big age of 28, I'm finally sitting back with my fully developed brain and thinking, I cannot be doing that. And I am now looking at everything that I'm doing and realizing that for so long I have been doing everything in such the fastest way possible, so I can get more things done in my day. I can get more out of my day. And my nervous system has been taking a hit for it unnecessarily. So you need to understand how to do everything in a relaxed way, and then understand how much time you need in order to do those things. And it may not even be as much time as you thought you needed. Like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I thought it would take me 30 minutes to do my makeup for this video in a relaxed way. And I put my phone to the side, didn't look at it, didn't look at the time, and just did it freely and tried to figure out how long it actually took for me to do it as relaxed as possible. And it took me 13 minutes. So if this means having to relearn how to do everything in a relaxed way and then understanding how much your day can realistically offer you without pushing your nervous system, that's what you have to do. And that way, you will not only be able to prioritize things better, you'll be able to fully enjoy the things that you're doing, and it won't be just an instant dopamine hit type of experience. Because I do think the phones are to blame for this whole habituation of instant gratification via social media, where you'll watch the first 10 seconds of a video and flip to another one and flip to another one. No, every single thing that you're doing, be fully immersed in it. Do it slowly, do it intentionally, and experience it to its fullest. And don't be greedy for extra things after that. Just stick with what you're doing and get that gratification, delayed gratification, of course. And what's going to happen is it's going to make all the things that you would have done very quickly in one day better quality. Because, and I know I personally, if you had told me this when I was 18, 19, 23, I would say, no, I can still keep the quality good even if I'm doing a million things. But the truth is time, energy, and intention all together create quality. So if you're depleted on the energy, if you're going really fast, scientifically speaking, that is not going to be of high quality. And no matter what you think when you look at it, objective reality cannot be denied. And people are going to be able to tell based on the energy behind whatever it is that you're creating. And believe it or not, you have more time than you think you do, because the screen time and social media, I'm telling you guys, it's stealing hours from your life. And I know it's necessary. It's necessary to be able to increase your opportunities, because you're going to be able to see so many things in the world that you otherwise never would have been exposed to without social media. But you gotta walk the line, and you gotta walk it with a lot of discipline and diligence. This includes taking the time to eat properly and sleep properly, and go through proper morning and nighttime routines. I know sometimes you have to do 6 hours, 7 hours, but you need to make sure you have a 10 or 11 hour night right after that, or at least 4 nights a week. Get 10 hours, get 11 hours, because it really does make a huge difference. This includes proper sleep hygiene as well. Go on walks regularly, meditation, yoga. These are all things that I've incorporated in my daily routine. So I have periods of intense work and periods of intense rest. And if you can optimize your day, you are going to optimize your entire life. And optimizing your daily routine is not going to get you out of being able to take breaks. When it comes to physical exercise, I do 3 days off in a week for my little break and 1 week off every 6 weeks. And I can talk about how I optimize my rest days and how to optimize rest in general in a different video. But yes, when it comes to anything breaks are necessary. So being able to understand how to not just get the most out of your days, but how to optimize your rest so that you can control when you are taking the breaks and you're not just being forced into a break because your body is shutting down. I hope these tips were helpful. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know it's hard, but I believe in you and you can do it. As long as you listen to what I say.